Hello. In this video we are going to continue our with making the web server. So we already in previous videos we have already created a async web server in Zig that can handle connections asynchronously and respond to them. So if we want to continue, we are going to think about how we are going to define some routes for the web server and how to define handlers. So now we have a static handler in here that parses the request. We don't need this line anymore. This was for showing that we can do async stuff. And it will statically return this, basically write this string to the socket as an HTTP response. And this is a code. So, as you remember, we were going to create a web server that that can be both either both used as a library and also an executable that gets a config. But we are going for now, we are going with the library approach, and we will add the executable thing later. But we need to consider that. Also, if you take a look at our main, our code is, for now, is basically, the main function is doing all this stuff. So the main function is creating the TCP server here, creating the address to listen on, and also running the loop that accepts connections. We need to make this a bit better. How we are going to do that is, first of all, let's actually clean up this file a bit. So this is main.zig, but there are a lot of stuff in here. So what I'm going to do is to create a new file called http.zig, and I'm going to move all this HTTP related stuff in there from here, right? From here till the end. Yeah. So I'm going to do this and put these in here. There are a lot of undefined stuff, so let's do a copy of these so we don't have anything undefined. Now we got an undefined thing in here. So we have constant method. We are going to make these all public because users should be able to use these. Public, public, public. This should be also a public one. Status is also should be public. We should also add, so let me add a to-do in here for myself, add other HTTP status codes. Version is public, okay. Also the errors should be public. So we should import HTTP library we just wrote from, so Zig imports are really nice, really simple actually. Where is the HTTP context? In here. So we do http.http context and this will work. Actually let's do http context equals http.http context. Same goes for status. And like this. So the second step is to make this main just call some function that starts everything, and pass a config to it. So in here I'm going to create something called HTTP server, which is a struct, of course, and let's see. So let me check this. Messages are coming. Let me check these. Okay, I had to answer one message, sorry. So for our HTTP server, for HTTP server, we are going to need the address, which is net.address. We also need so we need the address. We need okay. We should create a stream server for ourselves. We probably need an allocator. So it's std. I think we have allocator in scope. Yeah. Okay. It seems we don't. Constant allocator is net std heap low. Is it std mem? Yeah. So std mem allocator, right? And this HTTP server should be, so you should have a function init, which returns either an error or a pointer to the HTTP server. What it should do? It should do the stream server, the address, and the listening, basically everything. So should I do the defer thing? The defer should happen in the dinit. It's a net.stream server. We should be able to do self.streamserver.close, self.streamserver.dinit. They release all resources. Okay, and they close. Okay. So we do these for the closing the connection and freeing all memory. We have the init, we have the resolve IP, okay, but we are going to need a public, it should be public itself, public constant HTTP, or not config, just config, because it's in this, it's in the namespace of HTTP server, so it's a struct. It needs a, it's going to need a address, which is a string, needs a port, which is usize, and for now that is pretty much it. So init should take a config, which is of type config, and these should be config.address. These can be optionals. Optionals, yeah, okay, better is to have this as a, have defaults is better now. And this should be 88. So config.address and config.port. Then we start listening, creating the frames. We should also store these frames thing. Actually, I don't know if we should store this or not, because this is happening in the main loop. But you know, so let me just store them to make sure that everything is okay. It's a standard .array list. We should have the, where is it? Okay, we should have this in here as well. Standard .array list of connections, right? What was the type? Yes, connection. And frames std.array list connection init. Using the allocator, we should pass std.allocator and create a connection. You know what? We should have this init, all this listen. We should have another function for init that creates the web server. So this is a void, and this is HTTP context. So init takes the config and also the allocator, we don't need these anymore. We already have the allocator. So all we will do is create an HTTP context, allocator. Okay. The allocator. Okay, we need to create the address in here. So the address is try address config something, which is cool. So we got the address. Stream server is going to be created later. Frames also is going to be created later. So with this, we probably need a config instance for later when we have the handlers. But for now, it's okay to not have it, but let's have it. So now in the lesson, we create the stream server. We listen on self.address. Needs a self of HTTP context. Lesson. Then we create the array list, which is our frames. It's self.frames. Or actually, let's just do this. What's happening? Oh. Okay. So we already have the frames as well. So we should be able to do self.frames. Unknown handler. Okay, handler is not undefined. We will bring this in here as well. It's going to be in here. Make this member of here so it can access the handler. Where is the allocator? Oh, sorry. It's self with allocator. Okay. Self with allocator. Okay. So we basically just move everything into this HTTP server. So we should be able now to create an HTTP server. So let's import this. We already have that in scope of HTTP, but let's have this in here. Let's start with the server, call this server, and let's say HTTP server.init. Init needs a allocator and a config. So I don't pass any config yet because, and listen. Listen. Isn't listen a public? Listen is a public. So it's a loop in here. Everything else is same. Okay. Let's do, so let me just close this one, close this one. How am I into two shells? Let's run zig build run. Oh, okay. So in here, where was this config I defined? Where was that? In here. Okay. It needs this. No member named allocator in the struct. Line 147, which is really there's no allocator in the HTTP server. Okay, we got expected type use 16, found use size. We can change these and the type info. Okay, that's the same problem basically. So let's do this use 16. So that will work. Where am I? Oh, you see, this is the problem. Now what? Again, okay, because the stream server is really undefined. So the default one is undefined. Oh, come on, how many times this should happen in here? Okay, does not support field access because we didn't try with the init one. It's in here probably. Come on, really? What about listen? Oh, it didn't work. I was just praying to God. Address not available. Okay, it's weird that this address. Okay, let me open up my cup. Okay, so it's so tight. I cannot open it. Okay, for some weird reason I cannot open my cup. Let it be there. I will pause the recording and try to open it. But let me fix, it's a bit hot in here, so my hands are not completely dry. Address not available. Why address is not available? We did the same thing. How is that address is not available? Let me change this default. Again, address is not available. Why is that? Try OS bind, stream server listen, path already exit, unexpected exit code. You know what? I'm a bit okay, the same error. What is wrong with this? Address not available. What's that error anyway? Address not available. Is that the same thing? Address not available? It's probably the same thing. So, is that because of a VPN? I don't have any VPN connected. Okay, it's really weird. Lot of stuff happening. Self.address. In the address we do this, then we are going to use it. So let me just do here a print of what is my address. Self.address. Let's see. Same error, but okay, it's in here. I don't know. I really don't know what to do. What's wrong with this? Why it's doing this? You know what? Let me just try something. Let me add these and let's do a commit. Work in progress, more structure. Right? And then let me just push this commit as well to make sure that we have our changes. And now let's do a log and do git checkout to this commit. Okay, What about now? So it's working on the previous commit. Okay, that's nice. That's nice because it means that we broke something ourselves. So yeah, we are on the more structured commit. Okay, so let's go and see what's what. So in the main, we are doing everything hopefully correct. HTTP server.init creates a pointer to the server. Okay, run this again. Oh my god, you know what happened again? Okay, so I cannot open this. Let me pause this and open this up. I will be back. Okay, I'm back and I have successfully opened this cup, which is nice, and I can have my tea as well. It was really stuck. I don't know why was that. Okay, I think this place is better. Okay, so what was wrong with our code? I think, I'm not sure, but I think that this, so when we are returning from init, so when we are returning this as a pointer, I think that this was getting somehow cleared because we are creating that HTTP server instance inside that function, so it belongs to the memory stack of that function, and when we are returning, maybe we are clearing that. I'm not sure. If anyone knows why is that, please tell me. But now we have a running web server, which is nice. I want to make this log actually a bit better. So make this in here so we are sure that we are listening, and we will say, no, we're doing this. Listening on this. A bit nicer. So we have this, and let's make sure that everything works. So every request we send gives us this hello.zig. Hello zig. We do this, gives us hello zig, and we close. Everything works. So far so good. So actually let's commit this one. Fix HTTP server not starting to listen. Okay. So that was step one. Now we have our code in a more structured way, and actually now this is the actual library. This http.zig is the actual library that probably people can import and use. And if everyone wants to use it as a binary, it can run this main and it will start. Now what we should do is so we already have this config struct in somewhere in here. It only has address and ports, but we want more. So how we should do that? What I need, let's start from the, let's see it from the user's perspective. So imagine this is the user code. Let's imagine this is the user code that is using our HTTP in here as a library. So in here, I'm gonna pass address, which is localhost, port, which is this, and we are going to have something called routes or handlers. Okay. So I want my handlers to be, how can I say that? To be kind of really programmatic, configurable in a programmatic way. What I mean by that? It's hot. I mean that user should be, okay, the simpler way to do this, that I can think of is to have, not the array list, okay, so is to have a slice, let's make this a pseudocode, of some objects. Each object has a predicate, which is a function that takes the HTTP context, not the HTTP context necessarily, that takes HTTP context.request, for example. We don't have this, but let's just take the HTTP context for now, and returns a boolean. If it's true, means that this request should be handled by the handler that is inside this, and this handler also takes the HTTP context and returns nothing. This is basically what I want. And these predicates are going to check for URI, check for any information from the request, so headers or anything. And since these are just functions, we can create higher order functions that these predicates can produce predicates for us. For example, just match the URI, for example. Is this good? Because I'm thinking how then we can handle we can do this in middleverse. So we are going to have kind of middleverse as well, which is also a list of functions that take HTTP context and also return the HTTP context. Actually, let's not think about middleverse for now. It's so high level concept. Let's just think about these. Right? So, okay. So, okay, how is this so many errors? Okay, why is this? Why there is so many errors in here? We have the address. Oh, ouch. I always forget how Zeek does a struct field initiation. So we are going to need another type, which is HTTP, not HTTP anymore. Actually, since we are in HTTP namespace now, these should probably rename to oh, it doesn't support renames. Okay, so okay, to context. Next, same thing, next, 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 and next. Next. Okay, same goes for the server. So server, next, same, next, same, next, same, next, same. And the main. Do we need HTTP context really? Are we using it in any place? No, we don't use these as well. We don't use these as well. We don't use net at all. Cool. So server.init. Okay, cool. Just check if this compiles. Right. So we're good. We're good. So now let's create this type of, that's called what's handler? Each handler has a I don't know any better name, which is a predicate. Can we do this? Taking a context. Is this valid Z code? and return any error. Seems that this is valid zip code, which is nice. I want almost the same thing for the handler, or the, I don't like the name handler. Handler for each, let's call this for now func. Okay, this takes the handler and returns nothing. Okay, cool. So now let's go back into our main, not main, HTTP. So when listen, I'm gonna call handler. So handler creates the HTTP context we need from here, and instead of doing respond, okay, it's gonna so in the server config, we are also going to have some handlers. Handlers are a slice of handler. So I'm gonna do in here, I'm gonna do a for on self. Okay, it needs to be defined on the self of server, pointer to it. So with this in mind, we don't need any kind of stream or allocator anymore. We need a stream, we don't need the allocator. So stream.close and just self.allocator for self.handlers, for self.config.handlers, for each handler, make this run handler. For each handler, I'm gonna do following: handler.predicate. I'm gonna call this with the context we have, do a try and see if this matches this. I'm gonna do handler.func, passing the context. It's also a try. After this, I'm gonna break my loop because I want the first one that matches. And let me have these for now. I don't want this anymore. Okay, so what we just did. For each request, I'm gonna find the appropriate handler. How is that? First, I parse the context. I create a context from the request stream. And then I'm gonna check to find which handler I should run for this particular. Did I have this? Why it says on the, oh, okay, it's in here. Oh, that's a problem, I say. Can I return async function with specified calling convention, so to be as user. Can I do this? Find context. Wait. Any error. I hope this works. I really don't know if this works or not. Expected function type found type. Okay. We might have a problem in here. I don't know how to store frames. I don't know how to store frames for each call. For now, it's just since we had a unless, so async is calling in here, right? run handler. Async is this, right? So why I cannot do this with handler? Why don't do it with handler? Anyway, the async call is the run handler function. Okay, missing field handlers. This is okay because handlers can be undefined. Expected type HTTP server found this Init Allocator. Okay, that is fine as well because we actually need to call this with a self. Okay, expected type HTTP stream found this. Okay, I don't need to pass allocator. Whew. Okay, it's running again, but it probably be, if we call this, nothing happens because there is no handler to handle this request, so it just does the printing. This is nice. This is nice. This is nice. I love how we are going. So now user can define handlers for the server. Handlers are basically a tuple that contain a predicate function and a func to handle to do actual logic. Push this. We're good. We're good. So let's make this public and try to write a simple handler ourselves. So in here now, we can define handlers. In handlers, let me create an array list of handler. Okay, so let me create an array list of handlers. Handlers.append handler dot predicate, which is a function. Void. Will this work? Okay. Let me see. I really don't know how, if Zeek supports these syntaxes at all. Okay, function prototype may not have been inferred via errors. Okay. Okay, it will support this, which is nice. This is what I expected from a language like Zeek. So, but the only thing is predicate is actually a function that takes the request context. HTTP context as called CTX, for example. Take some pages from Go. So now context, I don't know. Context, I think that writer. No, context.respond, it's our own object. What was the, how was the definition of the context.respond? We did call that. Respond takes the context, takes the status, some headers, and the body. Okay. So we do HTTP status, okay, no headers, and the body. Hello, handler 1. And this is, and you know what? This is not the predicate. This is actually this is the func. Use of undeclared variable context. I just defined this in here, man. How? So let's see. Does Zeek have anonymous functions? Anonymous struct literal struct literal and Do you have any kind of functions? Test, variable, arrays, stuff, unreachable functions. Passed by value parameters, function type parameter. Reflection as well. How we can do that? Okay, really, how should I do this? I really don't know why this says context is not defined. Predicate is a function taking a context, http.context, any error or bool. This says context dot URI, std, mem. These can all be helper functions on the context. So for example, manage URI with this pattern. But for now, let me do everything manual. Context URI and slash. You know what? Let's just return true for now. Okay, so expected expression dot func. What am I missing? Expected test, comp time, handler. I don't know what's wrong. Okay. Seems that I really cannot use this idea I had. Why is that? What we can do to make this work? Handler. How this handler is working? But oh, maybe okay. So there is a thing. Maybe. Okay, this is not good, but I think this is a type, right? So for initialization of a type, I should do something else. So I can just search and read. I don't really. I don't think that we can find anything for Zig right now. So Zig anonymous function. Lambdas. Let's see. Okay. What is this? Functions inside functions. They didn't do anything. On this idea, I don't know. Okay, you know what? I think I have a way to cheat. So, you know that there is a way, I think, to do this. And I think this is, we can find this in the general purpose allocator. So general purpose allocator creates a really weird struct, but it should have a allocator function, allocator.init, self, and everything. So init takes a allocation function. This is a comp time. Okay. Sorry. So what you do with this allocator function? Huh? Gen. Okay, you call it directly. Maybe we need to do something like this. I think we can do it. So in the handler, having that, I'd rather let me have that open side by side. Oh, what I did. Okay. And so what it's doing is calling this inside here, so it returns a call to that. So not in main, but HTTP. So predicate should be a comp time value. This should be also comp time. These are generics. Oh, it says that I know these are comp times. Idiot. So okay, thank you for knowing that. So init should take a comp time, this, function, so it's called a predicate, and this is the function, right? Expected return, okay. We will return a handler for you. Is this error really? Okay, you're so smart. Okay, I'm giving you that. Okay, I'm not using comp time anymore. Why you're arguing? Oh, okay, unused. Okay. So we have unused function parameter. So, you know what? I'm gonna return us. So you know what? I'll make this handler. Oh, sorry. No, don't do this. I'm gonna create a handler. Okay, I'm gonna create a handler, and I'm thinking, no, I think the only possible way for us is to create this as a handler, should return a struct. This struct has two functions, predicate, public function predicate, that takes in the context, returns any error or bool, and does predicate. Okay, let's user predicate, user func, user predicate, context. Let's just do the try and also the return. It's almost same code for func, user func. Okay, so we create each handler like this. Okay, and okay, handler. So we have the handler. Now our handlers are going to be two. Okay, so what we should call this creates a struct that creates the type. How we should tell it that I'm going to create, because I don't know the type. I don't know the type of this. I don't know what it's going to create for me. If only Zik had closures, it would be much simpler code to write. If only it has closures. I really hope they add it to the language. I don't know about the technical difficulties or anything, but I think it's really useful, especially in these kind of scenarios. Okay, so what options we have? How can I make this work? I don't think it's work, because handler is a function, right? Passing these two. Okay, if I make this a type, and I know that these two are, functions. What if I pass null? What if I pass null in here? Null and null. Okay, and in the main, I don't think that we can do instant home handler, which is a struct. Public function predicate takes in the context, which is the HTTP dot context, any error or bool. Now return true. Public function func context HTTP context, any error void. Let's copy this line and do this, and this. Okay, context. Context. Home handle. Oh, okay. So, and then I'm gonna add home handler to it. So home handler is a struct, has two functions in it. Home handler fun init that returns a handler that returns handler. Okay, why it's so hard to do this? Why it is so hard to do this? Why it is so hard to do this? Init, don't need this. Home handler. So I'm gonna create a handler, http.handler, home handler dot predicate, home handler dot func. Okay. So finally, I hate that it makes this one-liners. Finally, we can do say. Well, actually, I remember a way we can do something so we can cheat a bit, and that's, I know another item. What was it? It's called items. So what's the problem? Oh, I know this another project which is doing web server. We can cheat a bit with that, but let's try it. Okay, let's try this. Okay, expected type found a function that takes these two, returns any type. Constant handler. Right. This is not cool. Okay. I should call this with two nulls. Will this work? Sure not, because expected this type found a null. Right. Let's I'm making this so bad. So bad. Oh my god. Expected type found bounded function. Oh my god, these are bounded functions. Yes, this is another type. How we can do this? We can do this. These are bounded functions, not normal functions. Okay, what we can do, you know what, no one is going to define the handlers like this. I mean, no normal person. So let's actually move this to here. Users are going to do it like this, right? So handlers, make this predicate function. Predicate function. Unused local constant. Okay. Okay. Expected type HTTP handler found a type in here. Expected type HTTP handler predicate function found a type. So why is that? What should I do? I really don't know anymore. Should I instantiate it? Expected type std array list something found. Oh, okay. This is fixable. Error is ignored. Okay, append needs a try. Okay, expected type Oh, okay, you cannot pass null. Okay, that is also not a big deal. Let me just, copy these to HTTP. Here, paste these in here. Call two unreachables. Unreachable. This function shouldn't be called. These are also no inside this scope. Okay, really, even in unreachable, you're gonna complain to me? And predicate func. Okay, expected type slice of HTTP handlers found slice of. Okay. Oh my god. Okay. I don't know what we should do for this. Okay, let's back up. So we need to copy the design of the general purpose allocator, because what we are actually trying to achieve is kind of the interface, what we expect from the interface, from an interface, right? So the general purpose allocator is its own is a struct, generic struct, right? Does so many stuff, but in some part of its code, it's gonna call the allocator. Where is that call? Function allocator. So it's gonna call allocator.init. Allocator.init is also, okay, it's going to return an actual type which does all of these. Okay, let's start again. So let's come down in here. Let's rework this. So my handler, you know what, I probably need an instance of Zig source code. Zig allocator, okay, function init. So it's gonna create an allocator, returns an allocator, pointer is pointer, vtable. That is the only two fields that need assignment, probably. So what init takes these two. So I'm gonna say that init takes a struct, takes a request handler, which is a struct that has a predicate, which is a function that takes a context, returns either an any error or a bool. Same for func, takes and just returns nothing. Wait. Okay, unused. Okay. And then it should return. So let's call this init constant handler is a struct itself. And this will return handler. Okay, and handler has a function, has a predicate, which is of this type and a func which is of this type, and also has predicate. Let's call this user predicate and user func, a predicate any error or void, no, bool, return the try of self dot user predicate. Same functionality for the func, user func. And okay. Unused function parameter. Who is unused? Okay. This will return a handler, user predicate, this self, not self, request, where is that? Request handler dot predicate dot user func. Okay. So a handler is a type now. So since handler is a type, I can do this, and in the run handler I can do handler.predict handle. Okay, I hope this works. I don't know. Let's see what's what. Okay, handler is private. Okay, silly error. Expected function found type. Okay, normal because you know we messed up so much. Normal that we take these kind of errors. Expected a function found a type. Same because HTTP handler. Okay, I'm gonna call HTTP handler.init, passing these two. Expected type HTTP struct something. Found this note. Init request handler struct. Oh, okay. Okay, you know what? This is a silly thing I designed. You know, this is really silly to have this as a struct. And back and run. Local shadow declaration of predicate. Well, where is that? In the HTTP? Where in line? Oh, sorry, 200. Okay, this predicate says this predicate shadows. Oh, okay, that. So user predicate and come on, really. User predicate, user func, and these are like this. User predicate, user func. Oh, come on. Expected type found HTTP handler. Okay, so in here it says expected found HTTP.handler in here in main. Let's go in main again. Oh, okay. This is because of this. Oh. Why it's not gonna come? Why it's not compiling? Expected one argument found 2. Because in HTTP, I know why. Because in HTTP, we should also pass the context. How we are going to call this one, and we are not calling it. Oh my god. Okay, context is a context. Okay, expected type this. Okay, I think we are closing in. So let's go into main again. Hopefully, for love of God, we are going to finish this. Expected a type of this found constant. How is this a constant? Huh? How is this a constant? HTTP, how is this a constant? Context is a variable in here. Looks cool. Constant. Cast discards the const qualifier in here. Okay, you know what? Let me try something. I don't know anymore. I really don't know anymore. So let's go into HTTP. Down here we have the handler. So let's say these two take pointers to a context. Okay, and this is also a pointer to a context. I don't like passing. Oh my god. I don't like passing pointers that much, because you saw at the start of the string that we just, you know, we had a problem because of the pointer thing. We expected to type this, found this in main. Okay, let's hope that this doesn't. Come on, it's not gonna finish. HTTP. What's the line? 168. What's wrong with you, man? What is wrong with you? Context pass. Okay, it's gonna fail because this is gonna clean up, I think. I think we are. Okay, let's request it. We crash because resume an async function which is already returned. Okay. It was trying to resume our user function. But it was already returned. How this was already returned? How? Resumed as an async function which already returned. Okay, let's go into HTTP. So we run async, run handler, connection stream. So this is our async thing. We create a context. We do the debug print. We find the handler. Found handler. Handler. Run it again. Run. Found handler. Okay, so we have actually. Okay, so handler.func. Handler.func, which is this. This. This will call it a user function. Maybe we should call this in an async manner as well. You shouldn't return. Huh? Should we do this in an async? Okay. It says expected async function found this. Why is that? Can we do await on it? I basically don't know what to do anymore. There's no await for this, of course, because it does not return anything. But I thought that we can run this as an async. Expected async function found this while checking this field frame. Is that frame or frames? $142 frame, yes. Run header. I shouldn't do this like this. Try. Same error. We didn't basically do anything, of course, to make the error fixed. Probably need to call it in because it's an hour and okay, an hour and 16 minutes. We are not even close. I think we are not even close. Oh, sorry. Let me just. Okay. Let's see how we can fix this. Why it's not working? So I am. I have this handler. I don't like this code, but that's the only way I know to make it work. Basically, I made the handler an interface. Run handler. Context.init is an async call. I can make this async. Expression value ignored. Expression value ignored because I'm trying to understand what's the problem. I don't get it. Try handler.func calls this calls this. It's basically saying that this is not async, dude. You are storing the frame, but it's not an async. I cannot resume it. But I mean, you should know. Huh? This. Is this async? Should we call this in an async manner? We did it. I don't like what we did, the last part. I don't like that. I think that's not, thing you should do, but it works. And I mean, it kind of makes sense because, so we are handling requests. For each one, we are going into an async path. I don't know. I don't think this is the actual way to do this. I mean, at least I hope in here this will call the user. Maybe I do this in here at least. Huh? Basic. But it doesn't return any error. Basically, we are suppressing the errors. and main. So let's do this. Will this work? No, of course, because the function, async function. Oh yeah, we actually tried this one time, and it wasn't working. I remember now. Okay, go to HTTP, make the stupid, the dumbest version that is working. Dumbest thing that it works. So, you know what? Let me try something. Let me try to see if we didn't actually screw everything. So, public function, these does not need to be public, I think. Public function predicate and public function predicate sleep. If context HTTP context any error bool. If context the URI stdmem equal u8. I want to write the same code we already did last time. If it's a sleep, std time sleep for std time s per s 5. Not the predicate necessarily. I think that will work. I think. And we'll pass the same thing. Hello handler. You know what? Let me actually make this completely different. Funky sleep. Hello handler sleep. In here, we will add that to the top. HTTP handler init predicate sleep. Okay. Predicate sleep. Funky sleep. Predicate sleep. Let's try to run it. See build run. Okay. Normal version. Okay. Okay. Why is that? I mean, we didn't do anything. Oh, okay. If and that is in here. Unused function parameter. What? Predicate. Okay. We don't need two predicates, and even okay. So in case it just sleeps, otherwise it will just work. So we don't need two func sleep. That's the problem. Yeah. Because we are not calling this as an async function, it's not working. I think that's the problem. Let's go into HTTP, see what we can do about this one. Can we do anything about this or not? Okay. We got a bug in here. Okay, come on. It escaped. Okay. I don't want to do this. Just moving around to make me angry. you know what? I just want to call it in and just commit at the non-working state. Actually, let at least remove this. So we. How is this working? I mean, I don't even know why it's not working anymore. I mean, how that if was making it not work, I don't know. But yeah, but I'm gonna call it I don't know what to do, and if you think about it, and I'm really tired, and it's a long video. So next video, our first priority is to fix this. We should find a way to, when this run handler is you know what what if we do this loop in here? We will do this in the next stream. Maybe there are ways to make this work, I don't know. But you know, we failed today. No, we didn't fail, but we didn't achieve everything we wanted. I hope we can do another one tomorrow so we can fix this problem. But if we fix this, it's going to be a complete web server that is configurable, really configurable. I really like this interface that we can define predicates, and it's going to be really nice. And then we can define some helper predicates for users to use, and finally we can think about the configuration file to use those predefined predicates, and also some handler functions as well. So that is it. I'm going to commit this just right now. Let me just remove this. Oh, we did. Okay, we did some. Okay, so I'm going to commit, but I'm going to tag it as a work in progress, async handlers. And that is it. If you like, subscribe and follow, and please like the video. I hope in the next stream we are more successful. Thank you and goodbye.